Morning, everyone. It's Tuesday morning around 8:12, and this is your video number 682 for Tuesday morning, the 23rd, and it's your pre-opening comment. And I want to lead off by saying that if you have any questions about trading futures, you really should get them to us. These markets are really heating up in a very big way. The leverage is much better than in the market, as is the liquidity in a lot of these futures. And the way that things are shaping up as far as inflation, dollar deficits based on major stimulus, as well as what is still yet to come, which looks like maybe as much as a $3 trillion infrastructure program. There are a lot of futures and there are a lot of hedges for the dollar that really should be part of your portfolio. Okay, to the news. Asia and Europe both down. Europe more on the continuing lockdowns because COVID is clearly not under control in Europe. In fact, COVID is really not necessarily under control here. I've just been listening to the Dallas Fed President Kaplan talking about the fact that we are not out of the pandemic yet, that they will not deal with forecasts but only real numbers for inflation, and that 2021 and 22 are questionable as far as what to expect on COVID, on continued bond buying, etc. What he does say is that they will adjust their activities, like bond purchases, as they see real numbers. So we have that. Janet Yellen, our Secretary of the Treasury, says that she thinks that we may have full employment in 2022. So we'll have to see. And Fed Chair Powell says support is still needed for the economy. So there you have it. It's pretty much the same. I'm actually glad that Kaplan says that they're going to use real numbers and not forecasts, because their record in forecasting sucks. They're rarely right. Back to AstraZeneca, which I mentioned last night and yesterday morning. Today, we have U.S. Health Department, NIAID, and CDC all saying that they have questions about AstraZeneca's safety. If you recall, yesterday I mentioned that everything that they're saying is suspect because they're just being responsive to press releases. And there's no way that you can identify and investigate bleeding risk and blood clot risk in a matter of a day or two and put out something that says, oh yeah, no, we're fine. They're not fine. All of the U.S. health agencies are questioning their data, and we'll have to see how that shakes out. On a less important note, obviously people's health and the pandemic is more important than the price of AstraZeneca, but AstraZeneca right now is down about 2.25%, which is what it was up yesterday. Regeneron reports that their antigen cocktail is 70% effective, so that's good news. And there is a couple of old names back in the headlines. WeWork, if you recall, a real debacle for what they did relative to running ahead in the private market, raising, all kinds of money, reported a $3.2 billion loss for 2020. They still want to go public, but we're certainly not looking at a valuation anywhere near, what they were looking for before. Coursera is looking for a $4 billion valuation for their IPO. This is an online learning company. And Microsoft is going to buy Discord for $10 billion. As you know, we have our Discord room. The link to it is on every one of our videos and the daily note every night. So it's a great place. I think Microsoft may be very helpful in expanding its reach. And so for that, I'm thankful. Futures, Dow down about 130. NASDAQ, which was higher before, is now up only 3. And the S&P is down about 13. So pretty much a weak market. The chart on the screen is nat gas, and it's down about 2.7 cents, or 0.027. I kind of like the way that it's shaping up. As you can see, we came back down and tested this support in my notes, charts with comments on Sunday night. I mentioned this as being an area of major support, and of course support right under it. And while it did close slightly below twice in the last 8 weeks, below this 200-week moving average, it really didn't fall through and stay through, with the exception of 4 weeks ago, and then continued back up, still closed about mid-range that week, and looks like it's trying to break out. So I'm going to give that a pretty solid look. Here is the daily, and I'll show you a little bit better. Looks to me like we really want to go higher again. First stop, as far as I can tell, would be about 265, 266, followed by the resistance around 270, 272. So from 259 to 265, 270 is meaningful. We will use UNG calls. The UNG sells for about 9.5, and we would probably use the April 9.5s or 10s. So that's an interesting looking trade. The rest of the futures markets are really all over the place. Oil is down again, $2.62. This is a huge break. This would be the only thing that would keep me away from the nat gas, is the weakness in the energies. I also pointed this out over the weekend, that it looks to me like we've crossed the, this is a daily, so we've crossed the 5-day, has crossed the 20-day to the downside, the old Dick Donchen rule, possibly a reversal of trend, although we have seen this before, these kind of breaks where we've turned on a dime and started higher. What's different about this at this point is we had 7 or 8 touches of the 20-day and then rallies. This time we broke through it and actually moved down to the 100-day, which is, the 50-day, which is a problem, although it seems to be holding. There is some support in this area, $58, but with the lockdowns in Europe and the questions about economic growth there, that is a problem. Other markets, we had the gold really try and move higher, but in point of fact, it's really not doing much. Has a $13 range this morning. Yesterday's right around yesterday's low, around 1730. Again, I'll have to blow this up to have you be able to see it. But as you can see, yesterday was an outside day, higher high, lower low. Today is an inside day, lower high, higher low. It looks like we really want to go higher, but we're just not getting any follow through in this market. It may be because Bitcoin has supplanted it, but we'll have to see. Silver is down a little. We'll probably get out of that position today. And Bitcoin, the dollar is actually up 40 cents, which is pretty extreme. This brings it right back up to recent highs, just over 92 cents. As you can see, we really are primed for a breakout or a possible breakout here. We have 3 days of highs, 92.18 and a half, 92.17 and a half, 92.20. So, looks like we'll make an assault on this 92.53, and we may run all the way back up to this falling. This green line is the 200-day moving average. It's here right into resistance for the upside, but we'll have to see how it goes. And one last one, let's look at the Bitcoin, because it's been all over the place also. Today it is down 5 1/4. I have seen it down a bit more than that. As a matter of fact, I think I saw it down about 1,500. And as you can see, it hit this morning, hit the blue line, which is the 20-day moving average. This is back at support. As I mentioned in the note, 53,000 is pretty major support. Goes all the way down to about 50,000. Obviously, resistance is in this 58.5, 59,000. So we'll have to see. This market has really taken over from the gold. So, we'll have to see which one of them rallies the hardest. All right, everyone. Have a good morning. Oh, and BIDU, which is down about $7 or $7.50 here in early trading, was influenced by its IPO in Hong Kong, which was lower. If you recall, Trump was talking about banning these stocks from trading in the U.S. BIDU made, BIDU made the move to get itself listed in Hong Kong. Now that's come to pass, so it doesn't have the risk of being delisted. Not that anybody really took that terribly seriously. But again, it's happened in a market that is a bit on the weak side, and so it's lower. All right, everyone, I'll be back later in the day, and I'll undoubtedly do a video on the UNG if we decide to take that position.